As we approach Murray's corner for the last time, we need to go defensive, but the back end steps out under braking. We take too much curb, forcing us wide. On exit, it's going to be a drag race to the line between the Volkswagen and the Jaguar. I can barely watch. Stop. How did we get here? Let's go back to the beginning. Guten Tag, welcome back to the channel. We have a very challenging race. It's round 5 of the Manor Cup, 16 laps of Bathurst on the medium tyres. We are starting 6th there in the Sirocco, and it's a no-stop race, so you know what that means. The VW is an FF car, so it's going to be all about the tyres as we get underway here. And apologies if my voice is a bit funny today. I have a cold, but I will do my best as we come through the first corner. As we climb up the hill here on the first lap, we have a full tank of fuel and cold tyres. Brake balance is 5 to the rear, so we are going to have a little bit of oversteer at Griffin's Bend, and that's going to mean that the Audi TT Cup, the Japanese driver behind us, is all over us as we approach the tricky double left-hander up here at the cutting. But as you see, we managed to stay ahead of him for the time being across the top of the mountain. There's not really anywhere to pass, so as you see, he is as keen as a jelly bean, or I don't know, do they have jelly beans in Japan? But yeah, there's no way for him to get by as we go through these quick series of left-handers, and now we're into the downhill section. And I'm going to just give him a quick flash of the hazards in a second, just to say, you know, trying to calm him down as we approach the very important Forest Elbow. You definitely don't want to be fighting there, as you'll just cost yourself time all the way down the straight, or maybe, you know, even end up in the wall and get yourself a penalty, like it looks like the NSX has up ahead of us. So he serves that penalty now, and we are going to be catching him at a vast rate of speed, and I actually go there to the left, and that handily actually blocks the momentum of the Audi, but as we come here into the chase, this chicane, the Audi manages to get through us, but we're going to have the run back on him as we come to the last corner, to Murray's corner. Rest in peace, Murray Walker. And as we approach that, we maybe just give him a little bit of a bump there, and he runs a bit deep, and that allows us to cut back in and get ahead. It's an important move because this Audi TT is really going to eat his tires and struggle very quickly in this race. So very important that we got back ahead there. And if we look back, we see that the NSX has also managed to get through. So we're up into 5th place at the beginning of the second lap. So jumping ahead a bit further into the lap as we make our descent, you'll see the NSX carries much more speed, and he's going to close right up to us as we come to the left-hander, this hairpin here before the Conrad Straight, and he is going to be in our slipstream now. But as I've said before, the Sirocco and the FF cars in general just have great speed in a straight line, so even as we speed it up down the straight there, you see he doesn't make enough progress, and we're going to survive for now. But now we are going to jump up ahead to 1 lap further from now, so we're on lap 3, and this time he's so much closer coming out of Forest Elbow, so we'll speed it up down the straight, and he's going to be close enough now that I'll have to go defensive. So he takes to the inside line through the chase, and I actually just decide to tuck back behind him, not to lose too much time fighting a losing battle, and get a little bit of dust kicked up in my face for good measure. And he puts the hazards on there just to thank me for the clean racing, and now it's going to be my goal just to try and sit in his slipstream and conserve tyre wear for myself a little bit, and hope that his superior pace can pull us along and keep me ahead of the pack behind. So as we start lap 4, we're a few seconds ahead of 7th place, and we're going to have a nice run up the hill here and bump draft the NSX. But you'll see that I actually back off a little bit too much here for the second corner, dropping all the way below 120 kilometers per hour, and so I've immediately lost the slipstream, which I wanted to keep, and I just know that I'm not going to have the pace across the top of the mountain to keep up with the NSX and get the slipstream for the Conrad Straight. on the back half of the track, so that was a complete fail from me there, but oh well. So we're gonna skip now ahead to the end of the 4th lap, and you can see that the Audi TT here has been struggling, and Corey Haas here in the Mercedes is going to get by as we come down through the chase and come through to end the lap. And I know Corey, he's a very quick driver, but we're gonna then just jump up ahead to lap 5, and actually the Audi TT is fighting back up the front straight, and he gets through at Griffin's Bend, but he's around the outside, so he doesn't have the traction coming out, and Corey is able to get the place immediately back. So Corey is now in 7th place in the Mercedes, and he's going to probably be hunting us down at this point. And you see there at 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, all in a train, so it's super important that we can just get our heads down here and find a good rhythm, find a good pace, preserve the tyres, because if we fall back into that group, we can just go from quite a good position to an absolute disaster of a race. Now, at the end of the 5th lap, you see that the NSX runs wide at Murray's Corner. He gets a lot of dirt on his tyres, so I know he's going to be slower coming into the first corner, and we're actually going to make up a lot of ground on him and be right up now in his slipstream all the way up the hill. So at this moment, we're going to have to decide if we're going to give him the pump draft or actually go for a move. And we see he isn't really expecting a move because he doesn't defend, so we go for it. Because I just wasn't sure if he's still going to have dirt on his tyres, and I didn't want to be held up through this section of the track and lose time to the pack behind. So we are now back up into 5th, and it does mean that we're going to have to defend again. But at this point, I've kind of much more found my rhythm, and I don't have to worry so much about this Japanese driver, because I know he isn't going to try anything stupid. So we can really just put our head down here and get to putting in the consistent lap times that we're going to need over the next few laps before we start to see the drop-off in the tyre wear for the Sirocco. And that's when we're going to really start to struggle and fall behind to the cars behind us. So as we come here to start the 7th lap, this is going to be my fastest lap, so we'll do a quick track guide. So first corner, brake it, get down into 3rd gear, onto the accelerator early, onto the curb, and not too much curb though, up 4th gear, 5th gear, brake there at the pathway just after the 100-meter board, get the car turned in, stay in 4th gear. We want to try and keep the speed as much as we can so that we don't lose all this time going up the hill, turn it in, brake where the shadow there starts to jut out from the track into 3rd, get the car straightened up, gentle on the throttle as we come through here, early shift into 4th. We're going to turn in when we hit the tree here, flat out through this corner if you have the confidence in the car, and then we're going to shift up into 5th gear, get the car turned in, little lift, just don't take too much curb. Again, look for this curb on the right. We want to turn in just before that, a little bit of a lift, hit the inside of the corner there, and then to this tricky downhill braking section. And you can see that I'm not doing much full braking. I'm just trying to conserve the the tires as much as possible as we go through that roller coaster of a section. Early shift up into 4th, keep it tight to the wall here, brake before the paint begins, the blue paint there, get it into 3rd, get it turned around, and then we're onto the Conrad Straight, as we now approach the chase and coming into the chicane, brake at the 150-meter board, and then don't take too much curb there on the first part of the corner. Take a lot of curb there at the exit, up into 5th gear for Murray's Corner, brake just after the 100-meter board, down into 3rd, let the car drift around the corner, well not drift, just coast around the corner, then back onto the accelerator as we come around and do a 2 minutes 12.7. And And so actually we're going to just take a look at the timing chart here to see where our pace is compared to those around us. And kind of actually at this point in the race, on that 7th lap, we can see that the cars ahead of us, they're all in the 2-minute 12s, but our 2-minute 12.7 is right there, even with their pace. And then kind of the group behind with Corey Haas, they're all in the 2:13s. But that's the first kind of half of the race coming to a close. From here, we're going to begin to lose the tires and really start to struggle with the pace. And you can see that the NSX, even though we set our fastest lap there, well, he's now right back on us. Riding on board now with the NSX, and we see as he goes into Forest Elbow, the hairpin here, he has a bad exit, so we'll speed it up as we run down the Conrad straight. But you see he just, even with the slipstream, he's not close enough to make any kind of move on this lap. But we're going to skip ahead here now to lap 9, and we're riding on board with me. And you'll see I just take this downhill section way too slowly, and now the NSX is going to have a much better chance if he can just keep this corner clean. And even with the little touch of the wall there, he's now in much of a better position to make the pass. So we're just going to follow here down the straight in real time and see if he's able to make any kind of move. And as he picks up the slipstream, he's just got so much more speed than us, and I know that I'm struggling with the pace at this point in the race, so I just decided to have a little lift there as we go through the chase, and decide to let him through, tuck back in behind him, not to lose too much time. And once again, we just get the little touch of dirt in our face for our troubles. So as we come through now to complete the end of the 9th lap, this time the NSX doesn't run wide. We are still in his slipstream, but we cross over the line and do a 2 minutes 13.8. And if we just take a look at Corey, he does a 2 minutes 12.8. So he gained a whole second on us on that lap. And we speed it up now on the front straight. We do have the slipstream there, but once again, we just can't carry the speed through that second corner this late in the race. And I think we've once again just lost the slipstream, so we're not going to have any advantage, and we're actually now just going to jump ahead to the end of the 10th lap, and this time I do a 14 flat, whereas Corey does a 2:12.9, so he gained 1.1 seconds. So the battle is on, 6 laps to defend 6th place. Anyway, jumping ahead, we run a little bit deep into the cutting, dropping down even into 2nd to get the extra rotation, but that's going to slow us down all the way up the next part of the lap. So we're starting to make mistakes, little mistakes creep in as the tires fade. So we're going to jump forward to the 12th lap, and you see that I do the same thing, but this time run even deeper and lose more time. And this is just giving Corey the opportunity to close right up on his better tires. So as you see, we're running across the top of the mountain here, and now he's right up behind me. If he can, pick up just a few more attempts through this downhill section, he's going to be into my slipstream as we come down the Conrad Straight, and that's just going to be disastrous, because at this point I just don't think I'm going to have the tires really to defend any kind of moves into there. And as you see, yeah, he's just caught up so much going through that section, and he is going to have our slipstream as we come down the next straight. And we see how we go through this corner, we take it all right. But he just gets, a much better exit, and we're going to ride on board here with me looking back as we run down the straight. And fortunately, he just had such a good run off of that corner. He tries to make the move too early, and there's just not the space there on the left hand side, so he actually ends up running into the back of me, giving me a bump draft, and that makes him lose his momentum. So we're just gonna manage to stay ahead here. Can we get it turned in for the chicane? Yeah, we can. It's always becoming more and more difficult to get the car slowed down at this late time in the race. So we're going to jump up ahead here to the beginning of the 13th lap, and we just take too much curb there on the exit. And again, Corey is just going to have a great drive off of the corners. He's got a lot more traction than us, and we're going to have to now go defensive. So we've come over to the right hand side of the track as we head up towards turn 2. And Corey, he decides not to try and go around the outside. He saw how the Audi TT went around the outside earlier, and it didn't work out for him, so he just tucks in behind us. But we managed to, make the corner, and we're going to go uphill here and keep him behind us for just one more lap. But obviously both of us don't want to be, fighting too much and losing too much time, because the group behind us, I think, is about 3 seconds. And as we come down here at the end of the 13th lap, Corey is once more right up behind us, and he's actually just going to come in here and go for the move into the hairpin, but he runs a little bit wide, and we just about touch as we go through. There's just a car space width and maybe a few millimeters more for Corey. I put my hazards on there just to say sorry about that. That was a little bit too close for comfort. It wasn't deliberate or anything like that. And we come down the Conrad Straight once more, and Corey here's in our slipstream. Is he going to be able to get the move done this time? He has a little bit of a look, but we get on the brakes. He doesn't try anything too risky, so very respectful driving from Corey, I have to say. If you are watching, thank you very much for that. And we're going to come here now through and end the 13th lap. So it'll be interesting to see what the lap time is as we cross over the start-finish line. I think it's going to be in the 2-minute 14s. No, it's even dropped down into the 2-minute 15s. So yeah, we've just lost a lot of pace. Jumping ahead to the back straight, and it looks like this time Corey has timed his run perfectly. He's picked up the slipstream later on the straight and now has enough of a slingshot to get through before the quick right-hander, so we're just going to watch him go by. There's nothing we can do now but tuck in behind him, and we'll see if we can stay close enough that our straight line speed advantage will be enough to get past him on the next lap. So we just have to drive cleanly, and you can see Tom up there in the NSX. He has pulled away already. He's a few seconds up the road, and we see in our mirrors there's a group of 3 of them behind us fighting. So as we round out to end the 14th lap, we have 2 more to go. We're going to be in the slipstream of the Mercedes as we come up the front straight, so we'll speed it up. Corey goes defensive, but I'm not close enough anyway to have any kind of move, and we have to see if we can stay with him now as we climb up the mountain and go across the top of the track before heading back downhill. And you're going to see here we're going to cut up ahead. We've lost a little bit of ground, so we're going to push extra hard through this downhill section, and this is unfortunately, we're just going to pause it here, go frame by frame, and you can see that we just cut over the line because we're just trying to push to keep up. And we're actually going to go and pick ourselves up a 1-second penalty. So I was absolutely cursing at this point, because I know that this group of 3 behind us is not that far back. And so we're going to come up to serve the penalty now. We're going to lose all of our pace down the straight, and just looking back at this group of 3, it's like Jaws. Da-da, 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 da-da. Look at how close they're getting. They're coming, they're coming, they're coming, they're coming. I'm just looking in my mirrors as we go around the quick right-hander, and actually Hazard there in the Corvette gets past momentarily, but he outbrakes himself and falls back behind. So we've managed to hold on to 7th, and we're going to have one last lap here where we're going to have to defend for our lives, because we just have 3 cars that are on better tires right behind us. And it looks like Kiwi in the Jaguar has gone through, and the 2 behind, they were just battling a little bit, so they've fallen back. So we come around the first corner for the last time. Luckily, we don't run too wide there on exit. We're going to speed the clip up as we go up the straight into Griffin's corner, take the right-hander. We actually managed to keep it fairly clean, and with good speed through there, but we just don't have the traction as we climb up the hill. And you can see Kiwi, he is right behind us now as we go through the cutting, and we're going to shift up into fourth, and you can hear that the revs just bog down as we get wheel spin even in fourth gear now, as we're this late in the race with the tire wear. And yeah, Kiwi is right behind us. We have to try and keep it as tight as possible. We don't want to have any little doors open that he can just stick his nose into, because if someone gets overconfident and sticks their nose in through these corners, it can just end in disaster. You don't want to be going side by side through any of those corners. So as we come down the hill, I'm extra cautious this time. Stay away from that white line on the left hand side of the track there, and we're going to come down here into the hairpin for the final time. Nice and cleanly through there. We get a pretty good exit actually, and he's not too close yet, but this can actually be an advantage for him because he's going to start to pick up the slipstream now, and this is going to give him a massive slingshot. Is he going to be able to do the same to us as what Corey did on the previous lap? So Kiwi, he goes for the move, but I defend the inside, jump on the brakes, get the car onto the apex. We're very, very slow on the exit, but there's no room for him to get past. But now, as we come down to Murray's corner for the last time, I'm going to have to go ultra defensive here. As we said at the beginning of the video, take way too much curb. This causes me to run wide, and it's going to be a drag down to the start-finish line. Who is going to get it? There we go. Photo finish. We just managed to hold on to 7th by, I think it was about 50 hundredths. So, an absolute crazy finish to the race. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I certainly did. So yeah, I look forward to hearing your comments. If you enjoyed the race, hit the like button. If you like cookies, subscribe to the channel. As I said, I'm a little bit sick right now, so there'll be no outroll. I'll just see you all again next time for the final round of the season. Peace out.